The windswept plains of the ancient world were home to some of history's most formidable fighters. Feared for their expertise as mounted archers, the Scythian hordes galloped out of the vast Central Asian steppe to build an empire all their own. But in the kingdoms to the south, a new power was on the rise, the Median Empire. Centered in what is now Iran, with disciplined cavalry and thundering chariots, the Medes came to dominate the Middle East in the 7th century BC. These two empires were on a collision course to control the strategic Caucasus region. In 679 BC, they would meet in an epic clash of civilizations on the banks of the Araxes River. Though outnumbered over 10 to 1, the crafty Scythian nomads would prevail through remarkable horsemanship and bow skills. Hello, and welcome to another episode of Antiquities Engagements. Today, we'll be revisiting the ancient battle of Araxes between the Scythians and the Medes. This dramatic upset halted Median expansion and established the nomadic Scythians as a dominant force in the region for years to come. Join me as we explore the rise of these warring empires, reconstruct the battle itself, and analyze the tactics that allowed the scrappy Scythians to defeat the mighty Medes. Understanding pivotal engagements like this provides perspective on warfare both past and present. So saddle up as we ride back over 2,500 years and set the scene for an empire-shaking clash of arms. The Scythians originated as nomadic herders on the grasslands of Central Asia during the 9th century BC. They were renowned for their horsemanship and archery skills, which were honed through constant riding and training from a young age. Living in portable tents and wagons, the Scythians migrated seasonally with their livestock while trading goods like fur and amber. But as their population grew, they were compelled westward in search of new resources. By the 7th century BC, Scythian chieftains had displaced the Cimmerians to take control of the vast steppe lands north of the Black Sea. From this strategic position, they extracted tributes from wealthy Greek coastal cities and made forays into Assyrian territory. The Scythians fought as light cavalry, armed with composite reflex bows that could penetrate armor from incredible range. They wore light leather armor for maximum mobility and became masters of lightning raids, ambushes, and feigned retreats. With no fixed cities or possessions, the Scythians answered to no one. Their reputation as mounted warriors grew as they launched daring strikes from the steppes into neighboring civilizations. Soon, the mere thunder of Scythian hoofs would inspire dread throughout the ancient world. But storm clouds were gathering to the south, where another nomadic people had forged a mighty empire spanning the Middle East. The two powers were set on a collision course that would rock the foundations of the ancient world. As the Scythians consolidated power in the steppes, a new empire rose in the Zagros Mountains east of Mesopotamia. An Iranian people called the Medes established a kingdom centered around Ecbatana, today's Hamadan in Iran. Through conquest of neighboring tribes and extorting tribute from cities, the Medes built a formidable military force. Chariots, cavalry, and iron weapons gave them an edge over rivals. In the late 8th century BC, King Cyaxares unified the scattered Median tribes. At its peak, the Medes dominated the entire Middle East from central Anatolia to beyond the Zagros Mountains. Through a mix of military might and savvy diplomacy, the Medes extended their control outward without needing large-scale conquest. Client kings ruled subordinate states while envoys extracted tributes from powers like Lydia and Babylonia. The foundation of the Median military power was heavily armored cavalry and swift chariot forces. Infantry armed with spears and arrows provided supporting ranks. This combined arms approach made the Medes the superpower of the Near East. But the sparsely populated Zagros Mountains to the north formed only a narrow buffer with the realm of the Scythian nomads. The Scythian raids intensified. The Medes were drawn into conflict with the elusive horsemen of the steppes. Tensions escalated between the two empires, setting the stage for an epic showdown. In 679 BC, the Medes marched north in force to confront the Scythian threat once and for all. Little did they know the ferocity they would meet on the banks of the Araxes River. The Battle of Araxes unfolded on the banks of the Araxes River in 679 BC in what is now modern Armenia. King Cyaxares led the Median forces, hoping his superior numbers and combined arms would carry the day. Opposing him was King Ishbekiah of the Scythians, who occupied well-chosen terrain guarded by pickets. When Median scouts reported an abandoned Scythian encampment, Cyaxares hastily ordered an attack, seeking a quick victory. But it was a trap. Most Scythian troops hid in the surrounding hills. With the Medes dispersed looting the vacant camp, horns sounded the ambush. Scythian cavalry galloped down the hills, hitting the Median flanks with arrows as pickets blocked their retreat. Chaos reigned in Median ranks as Scythian arrows rained down from all sides. Chariots foundered in the broken terrain, while cavalry was reluctant to pursue the elusive nomads. The Scythians refused direct combat, feigning retreats to draw out the Medes, then counterattacking into their exposed flanks. The Medes took heavy losses as the toll mounted. In desperation, King Cyaxares gathered his picked guard for a mass charge to an open escape route, but concentrated Scythian volleys checked his thrust, killing the Median king. Having lost their leader and exhausted, Median resistance collapsed. Scythian arrows and blades took a terrible toll as the nomads closed in relentlessly on the trapped foe. By day's end, the Medes were utterly routed, with 2/3 of their army dead. The Scythians won the day through mobility, subterfuge, and bow skills. Their victory staked their claim as the preeminent power in the ancient Middle East. The Battle of Araxes provides a masterclass in how a smaller, mobile force can defeat a larger, conventional army under the right conditions. The Scythians leveraged their strategic and tactical advantages to overcome the Medes' numerical superiority. The key for the Scythians was asymmetry. They avoided playing to the Medes' strengths in close-order combat. Instead, their mobility allowed them to concentrate against isolated Median detachments while avoiding encirclement themselves. Scythian mobility also enabled them to control the timing and location of attacks. Light cavalry struck suddenly, then retreated before the Median heavy forces could engage. This hit-and-run style imposed heavy losses, both physical and psychological. The Scythians also exploited their skills as mounted archers. Their powerful reflex bows allowed deadly accurate fire at long range, outside the reach of Median missile troops. Neither armored cavalry nor chariots could close and force battle. Together, these asymmetric tactics perfectly fit the Scythians' capabilities while targeting Median weakness. The Medes failed to coordinate their combined arms effectively under the Scythian onslaught. Deception and terrain also played key roles. Feigned retreats and ambush drew the Medes into unfavorable ground. The Medes' linear tactics faltered amidst the river and hills where the Scythians held the advantage. The Battle of Araxes remains a timeless case study in leveraging mobility, terrain, and asymmetric strategy to overcome the odds. The scrappy Scythians secured victory through cunning use of their strengths against a stronger opponent. The Battle of Araxes was a dramatic victory against the odds for the Scythian nomads. Their defeat of the mighty Medes established the Scythians as the dominant power in the ancient Middle East for over 2 decades. This clash of empires demonstrates how a mobile force can effectively outmaneuver a larger, more powerful opponent. The Scythian skills at mounted archery and asymmetric warfare carry lessons still relevant centuries later. The battle halted Median expansion in its tracks and opened Anatolia and the Caucasus to Scythian plunder. Though the Scythians' control would eventually wane, their win at Araxes resounded throughout the ancient world. Thank you for joining us today on the journey back in time to an ancient clash of civilizations. We hope you enjoyed learning about the Scythians' cunning tactics and outstanding victory over the Medes in 679 BC. Don't forget to subscribe and join us again next time.